Hey, this is Akshay Bhaskar from GeeksforGeeks and हम फिर से एक सेशन में आ गए हैं इंटरव्यू एक्सपीरियंस वाला सेशन है और उसमें द गेस्ट इज फ्रॉम VJTI Matunga and she is placed as a business analyst intern at Barclays. So I'll invite her. But before that, before moving on, I want you guys to engage with me in the comment section. Say hi, hello, क्या चल रहा है, कैसे हैं सब? 26 people are live. I think by now we should be in talking terms. तो बताओ भाइयों क्या चल रहा है? हेलो, गुड इवनिंग, मंडे. चलो एक सेकंड, ये पैनल भी हटा देता हूँ मैं. अच्छा गाइस, इस सेशन में आगे जाके जब एंड में क्वेश्चन और आंसर्स वाला सेशन आएगा ना, जस्ट मेक श्योर दैट यू आर लाइक आस्किंग योर क्वेश्चन इन दैट सेक्शन. गुड इवनिंग श्रद्धा, हाय जय, हेलो आरुषि. Yeah, Vikram, Monday, I know. Thanks for dropping in your comments. Anyways, I'll just invite my guest of today today's evening, and her name is Devanshi. So let me invite her. Hey Devanshi, how are you? क्या हाल है?
Hi, Akshay. I'm good.
Okay.
Am I
So,
audible?
yes, I think you are audible. So I have told them about you a little bit, but I would love you to give a brief introduction about yourself.
Okay. I'm Devanshi Shah, and I'm currently in third year of my computer engineering. I study at VJDI, and I'm a very deterministic and logical kind of person. So if you tell me some facts, I won't remember them. But if you teach me some concepts, I will.
Hmm.
And I've always found maths very intriguing and fascinating, and it's one of the major reasons that I got into engineering. And
Okay.
my core technical interests lie in the field of web development, and almost all of my projects are in that domain, not into other domains, but just that I found that fascinating. And I'm a core team member of all the coding societies of my college.
Great.
So yeah, and apart from the technical and academic background, I'm a Bharatanatyam dancer.
Okay.
Um, I've been a volunteer at a community NGO for almost 2 years now. I love cycling, and I occasionally enjoy sketching and cooking a little.
Okay.
So that's it about myself.
All right. That's a beautiful introduction. So, okay, how did you get to know about the opening at Barclays?
So actually, this was an on-campus Barclays. I'm not aware of Barclays hiring off campus. I am not aware of it.
Okay.
There may be like, and you can of course apply to that Barclays on by going on its career site. I
Mm-hmm.
was For me it was an on-campus opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
and it has a very strict application criteria. Barclays only selects students from CS and IT branches, and
Okay.
no backlogs. It does not select students from diploma background, and it has a strict pointer criteria about I think 8 pointer only.
Okay. Okay. So on campus placement आपका है ना?
Yes.
Okay. And how many rounds were there?
So there were only 2 rounds, and there was one technical, one online test round that is there common in all the interviews or all the placements that happen, and there was one interview.
Mm.
So there might be two interviews in some cases if there's a tie or something, but usually there's only one interview round. So
Yeah.
a brief about each interview round, a little detail about Barclays
Mm.
that I have noticed personally, that usually in general advise that you should prepare for TSA, and in general even I would give you that advice. But when you do your company wise research, Barclays usually does not focus that much on data structures and algorithms. So it does ask you questions about that, but not completely. So it asks you, they ask you questions about many other fields like object oriented programming and DBMS and
Hmm.
everything that you've mentioned in your resume, projects,
Hmm.
internships. So
Hmm.
that's a little detail. Brief about every round. So first one was online round. So
Hmm.
first it was 1.5 hour. It was conducted somewhere in the evening, and it mainly had it was from a vast range of topics. So it had C++, Python, JavaScript, Java, especially on servlets, and there were a few output prediction questions as well. There was DBMS, SQL queries, etc.
Okay.
And then there was cloud computing as well, Microsoft Azure, and it was mostly based on theory and not calculations. That was almost 30 MCQs were there, and the major weightage was on the MCQs.
Okay.
And then there were two coding questions, and they didn't have that much weightage, but and both of them were fairly easy, and they were not same for everyone that gave the test. Like many of my classmates also gave the test because it was on campus, of course, but we didn't have the same questions. So it kind of depends on luck, because firstly you may get easy coding
Hmm.
questions, or you may not get. And secondly, since MCQs were from a vast range of topics, so there may be a chance that someone who and there's no negative marking. So there might be a chance someone who doesn't know a lot of MCQs might get into it because they just looped it. So
Okay.
yeah, it depends on luck a little bit. So that was the first round, and
Okay.
after 1 or 2 days, you get a result about your second round. That is the interview round. Um, it was that was for 30 minutes, and it was somewhere in the morning. And a little detail that I noticed personally about itself, it that
Hmm.
usually interviews in Barclays are conducted by the VPs
Hmm.
uh, of the
Acha.
company. So
Acha.
actually, I had almost 3 4 days between my between the results and my actual interview. So I was pretty nervous, kind of. So I had to do the revision only, and I had done a lot of research on the company, and I would advise you to do a lot of research on the company as well. Um, and yeah, so in the interview, since there was only one interview,
Hmm.
so that interviewer covered almost all types of questions. He started with a classic "Tell me about yourself" question, and
Okay.
you should be prepared about this question because it's almost like every interview. It's in every interview. The first question you get asked is "Tell me something about yourself." So you should be prepared about that, and that should be the first impression that you make. And don't just reiterate your resume, because that's where your other question starts. Because from what you say in that answer to that question, so that, and smile, always smile, because that will give you confidence and positive vibes to your interviewer.
Hmm.
Okay.
Correct.
So after the "Tell me about yourself" questions,
Hmm.
he started with a little bit of technical questions because I had mentioned C++, object-oriented programming, and Python. So he started with some of those questions and memory management and those questions from my skills section in the resume. After the technical section, he moved on towards
Okay.
my projects and asked me about. He actually went. I had put the GitHub link of my project, so he actually went there because it was an online interview. So he went there. He checked out my projects, and he checked out the websites that I had made. And so keep your GitHub profile and all of that updated.
Hmm.
Then he went on to my. I didn't have any previous internships. Uh, I had my coding committee like experiences. So he went on there and asked me about that. My mentorship experiences. I had mentored teams for team projects.
Okay.
So he asked me a lot about that, like how was that experience and what do I think a mentor is, and etc. Then
Okay.
after that, he went on to a few of my hobbies, and then he jumped on to HR questions. And in Barclays the Barclays values, they call it rises. You can get that in their company website. So study these values thoroughly, because in all the experiences that I've read about in Barclays, all the experiences that my seniors or alumni have told me about, and my experience itself, they always ask you Barclays values. This is company specific, of course,
Okay.
and you have to like they ask you to give experiences, your life experiences based on those values, and how you've experienced integrity in your life, or
Hmm.
stewardship in your life, and that way. So kind of be prepared for these kind of questions. They are going to get you are going to get asked about these questions. And in the end, he asked me if I had, in last few minutes, he asked if I had any questions for him, and always make it a point to ask them questions, because it shows them that you are interested in their company and the internship or job opportunity, and you've done research
Hmm.
about the company. So
Hmm.
always pay attention when they conduct their pre-placement talk. Go through their company website, and if you know in prior, like I knew who my interviewer is going to be, check them out on LinkedIn, and maybe you will find something fascinating, or you will find you will be curious about something. Ask them questions about. Don't ask them questions like how was my interview, or
Hmm.
what is the stipend or salary. Don't ask them such questions, but ask meaningful questions. Ask them about their experience at the company, etc. So, which shows that you are interested in the opportunity.
Hmm.
And that was a half an hour. He stopped at dot, and I just kind of knew that, yeah, this is it. Like, this was a very good interview, and I've done it. Yeah.
Okay. That's
So
awesome. Yeah.
that's it.
Okay. So, what is the importance of projects and interview in the resume?
Hmm. Uh, so, first of all, I would like to say that your resume is, if you're a fresher, especially, please make it a point to keep your resume to only one page strictly.
Hmm.
And I'm focusing on this so much because usually while screening your resumes, interviewers don't have that much of time. And if you have a long resume, just go through it line by line and decide, is this relevant to what the post that I'm applying for? Will the interviewer be interested in it or not? And that way you cut short your resume. That's the first thing. And about projects and internships, yes, they are very important. Arrange your projects and internships in decreasing order of importance. So the most important ones that you feel you have contributed to in many ways, and the ones that you will be talking about are the ones that should be on the top of projects and internships. So you will get asked about those things, as I had been asked.
Hmm.
And it kind of your resume kind of some decides your direction of the entire interview. So be very careful what you put in your resume. Never ever lie in your resume, and be aware of each and every word in it.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that's it.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. So, how do you keep yourself motivated?
uh, this is a kind of a tricky question, because I
And
actually I find this concept of motivation, um, like it is not flawless. It has flaws in it, I think, because you cannot depend on motivation to get your work done. It's
Mhm.
something very non-reliant, and
Okay.
if you have some goal, you have to achieve it. Then you have to work for it. May you be motivated or not. So
Okay.
that's something that I think about this. And actually, I know what feeling demotivated is, because when you actually start with your preparation of data structures and algorithms, to to be specific, you get very demotivated in the beginning, especially because you don't know concepts. You go to try out questions and you don't get them. You don't get them. You don't get them, and
Hmm.
that's where all your motivation drains out. So for me, I would give you two tips. The first one is, when you have a goal, break it into chunks, doable chunks. Like focus on just one day at a time. Focus on your daily goal, like maybe doing 5 DSA questions in one day, or brushing up your DBMS concepts. So if that is your daily goal, just focus on that day. And if you're still not able to do anything, just what worked for me was, I was actually very not willing to start, because I was demotivated a lot because of not getting the question. So what worked for me was checking out Geeks for Geeks is leaderboard, my college leaderboard on Geeks for Geeks, the practice board. So when I saw my
Okay.
friends that they are achieving so much, and actually take it in a positive way, it actually works wonders for you. Or not just Geeks for Geeks, any platform that you're practicing on, just go to your college leaderboard, look at your friends, and get motivated in a positive way.
So
So that
basically,
works.
that competitiveness and all those things, basically accountability or competitiveness, basically motivated you.
Yes, yes,
I
that
see.
that works. But keep it like, take it in a
Keep it in
positive
a
way.
positive way. That is true, obviously. And what is the like any advice you want to give to the viewers, placement related?
Um, Advice that, yeah, I have a couple of advice. First is, be acquainted with your research about the company. Like you should know as much as you can about the company before your interview. Um, so research on about your company on Glassdoor, on Quora, on LinkedIn, and go through the company's website, the entire website. I had actually 4 days to prepare before my interview, so all I did was research about the company so that I can know about it and know if I want to work in that company in future. There's a lot of employees of those companies who write on these websites, about their experience and how the company is, about the working culture, and many things. And
Okay.
keep your LinkedIn profile updated. One of the most important things that I would recommend you is go through the company archives. So the number one source for it is Geeks for Geeks, and this is not because they are paying me or anything. This is because I have I have benefited from it a lot, a lot. Whenever you have an interview of a company, you will know in advance that you have the interview. So if you go through the archives of the company, you will know what are the experiences of other students, what kind of questions were they asked, and you will get to know your entire flow. And
Hmm.
uh, that way there are no surprises for you. And when you do your research perfectly, you can ask questions about them, and that's how, when uh, you have practiced perfectly, this is how you practice for one specific company. So whenever a company is coming, prepare company wise, and start preparing earlier, like actually at least before your drive starts, like placement drive, or whenever you're, if even if it's off campus, whenever you're planning to apply for the internships or placements, just start, at least give it 3 months, at least give it a period of 3 to 4 months to get acquainted with the concepts of data structures and algorithms, and practice them thoroughly.
Okay.
Because when you practice them, that's how you get used to them, and that's how you will come up with solutions quickly. So practice it is what is going to help you. So there are other subjects also which whose concepts you should know. Theory subjects like object oriented
Hmm.
programming, database management systems, operating systems, then computer networks also in some way, and system design for usually placements. So
Okay.
Yeah, and keep your resume very up to date and concise.
All right, all right, Devanshi, all right. That was great. I'll just pick up one question from the audience, from the comment section. All right, because we have already like reached 20 minutes. Everyone, please, you can start putting your comments, the questions in the comments. I'll randomly pick one or the most relevant one and try. All right. So can you, Devanshi, you can read the comments as well, right?
Yes, yes. There are a lot of good questions actually.
Yeah. You just tell me which one I'll pick. Due to time limitation. Other question.
Okay.
People can connect with you on LinkedIn. We have it. We have your profile in a YouTube description. That would be fine, right?
Uh,
Devanshi,
Hello.
people can
I'll just pick the recent one
okay.
from Arpana.
One thing. I just asked that people can connect with you on your LinkedIn, right? We have it in our YouTube. All right, guys. You can connect
Yes,
with her.
yes.
So, which question do you want me to go ahead with?
There's a recent one, Arpana Sharma. I have
Okay.
this question that when you practice DSA questions, how do I balance between various DSA topics?
Mm-hmm.
So, firstly, for DSA, uh, just you have to get acquainted with all the concepts first. So go like you there's a structured course, data structures and algorithms. You first start with basic concepts like stacks, queues, lists, and then you go to higher concepts like trees, graphs, and then you go to algorithms, sorting, searching,
Mm-hmm.
greedy, and then you move on to difficult ones, DP questions,
Mm-hmm.
etc. So that's the usual flow. Once you are acquainted with the topic, start solving questions. Just start solving them. So I had started solving questions on Geeks for Geeks, and when I was I had solved. I thought that I had solved enough number of questions in each topic. I went on to interview bit. It's a great site to prepare, and it's actually a bit higher, and it's a great site to prepare if you are just brushing up your concepts or that way. It's I won't recommend it to beginners, and yeah, so go then go some have some structured course at least, even if it may not be a video course. It can just be a list like go topic wise.
Okay. All right. All right. Devanshi, we have to, stop the question answers session here because we are running out of time. But uh, everyone in the audience, if you have any specific question and you feel like that you can connect and ask your question, so Devanshi is more than willing to help you guys, right? All
Yes.
right. So Devanshi, thank you so much for joining us, and it was pleasure having a conversation with you. And I'm sure that this session would have, provided value to our viewers. So thank you so much again for joining, Devanshi. I'll
Yeah.
be good and talk to the audience for like some time. Anything else you want to say before going?
So I would say don't get demotivated that easily. You can do it. You hear a lot of cliches. This is the one last advice that I would want to give. That there are a lot of cliches that don't quit when you are tired. Just quit when you're done. And like don't stop. Don't wait around for motivation. There are a lot of them. So actually, you you think that they are cliches, but they are all so true, and like they're cliches for a reason. So you can do it even if you think you can't. You just have to practice, and that's it. Hard
All
work
right.
is what matters.
All right. Thank you, Devanshi. Thank you so much for joining. Bye bye.
Thank you, Akshar, for having me.
Bye. All right, guys. So that was it. And I know many questions are coming up. Nikhil, I'm really sorry I couldn't pick up your question, but you can connect with her and ask her question over there. So on LinkedIn. So thank you so much, guys, for joining. And quickly share my screen and tell you about the course. All right. So this is a course of full stack development with React and Node.js. It's a live course, and the batch is starting from 27th of March, and it is at a good price. I'll just go through some features. It has a course completion certificate. Course is mentioned by mentored by industry experts. Project-based learning, internship opportunities at GFG, and 6 months access. So these are some features which I just read, but do check out this course, guys. Thank you so much. एंड ऑल राइट गाइस, सो दैट वाज इट। आज के सेशन के लिए इतना ही था। और निखिल, आप क्वेश्चन पूछ लेना उनसे। आप काफी बार कमेंट कर रहे हो, मैंने देखा। एनीवेज, all right, bye, guys. I'll just go, and we'll come again tomorrow with the same session, or the same segment, interview experience, and we'll have more. So this week is Code Rita week. We are inviting women who are placed at amazing companies, and we'll talk to them, and we'll provide you more value as we always do. So, all right, guys, I'll go. Thank you so much. Akshay Bhaskar from Geeks for Geeks. Take care.